Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinik.
Our favorite Nigerian is doing the drum roll.
This is your drum roll.
How you look so elegant. Goodness me. How are you this morning?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
And yourself?
I'm doing excellently well.
This is wine, right?
Yes, it is. It
glowing.
is. Good morning, Dr. Abati.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm okay.
We're missing Rufai today. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. As the family of the late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah continues preparations for his funeral, slated for November 22nd in Anambra State, videos from the night of tributes held in the late senator's honor on Monday continue to make the rounds on social media. A video showing Senate President Godswill Akpabio delivering his tribute while hailing Igbo people for their resilience and industrious nature has sparked a debate online. Let's take a look before we come back for a discussion.
The Senate passed the Southeast Development Commission, and this is something we feel should have been done immediately after the war. There should have been a special commission to take care of the destruction and the effects of the Civil War on the Igbo. A group of very mercantile people, hardworking people, who on their own, where do you think he would have taken money to do all he had done? Almost all the Igbo people that I know after the Civil War, the billionaires are all self-made. Whether in the aviation industry, you look at Ojema, whether you look at Chief Okonkwo, who just found out that he wasn't the only one who sponsored Governor Gige. Yeah. And that Ifeanyi Ubah was also that the Igbos are very proud people. The Igbos are very mercantile. The Igbos are the only ethnic group in Nigeria that when they enter Kano State, they build houses in Kano State for themselves. They don't rent. They turn around the place. When they enter Lagos, they own almost 2 or 3 local governments and build houses and live there. There's no place they go to, they don't make impact. But other Nigerians will come to my state and rent houses and stay for 15 years and go back without building a structure. But the Igbos are not the same. They are not like that. Wherever they are. So Ifeanyi Ubah represented the creme de la creme of the Igbo enterprise.
All right, Dr. Vati, let me take a reaction. This is from Mayor. He wrote, Senator Akpabio perfectly described the Igbos, but unfortunately most of the things he said here have done us no good, especially building mansions and establishing businesses in other people's land, whereas such things aren't reciprocated in our land. Dr. Vati, you know the conversation and the debate out there. You know, people have even termed the Igbo people the Jews of Nigeria, and you know that for a fact. I mean, there are a lot of comments that have been on, you know, some of the comments have not been really fair because they're not really balanced, and I don't think I should bring some of those comments on television at this point. I'd like for you to discuss that, but you know, yesterday we took the story of Rochas Okorocha, where he talked about the release of Nnamdi Kanu, where he appealed to the Senate president to, you know, talk to the federal government to find some sort of resolution for the people of the Southeast, and that will be the release of Nnamdi Kanu. But Akpabio had a response. I think that he talked about his wife as well. Let's take a look at that video of Akpabio responding to Rochas Okorocha.
One of you, I don't take the threat lightly. Somebody said, if I don't, is it Rochas, my people, that said, if I don't take the message to the federal government to do 1 or 2 things, that it will come for my wife. I got scared. Because I know I'm standing here, all the strength I have is because of the prayers of my wife. I don't know. So I want to plead with Rochas. I will come to your house personally to inform you after I've delivered the message to the federal government. So please don't contemplate withdrawing your daughter from my house. I don't know what I would have done.
Another comic relief there, Dr. Abati. You said, you know, yesterday was not in good taste or somewhat to have that sort of comic relief at a, you know, an event like that. But, you know, people do that, and it sometimes helps the people that are grieving. But meanwhile, Senator representing Borno South, Ali Ndume, has asked the upper legislative chamber to support Uchenna, the wife of the late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, to succeed him in the Senate to preserve his legacy and aspirations. Ndume spoke during a valedictory session held on Tuesday in the Senate to honor the late Ifeanyi Ubah.
Finally, my appeal, Mr. President, to you and my distinguished colleagues. His wife, fortunately, is 50 years or so a wonderful wife. Let us support the family and have the spirit representative of Ifeanyi here in the chamber when the election for the Anambra Senatorial district that he represents comes up. Thank you very much. May his soul rest in peace.
All right. I mean, I think that the headline that went out yesterday confused a lot of people. But I mean, I think that it's in good faith that Ali Ndume is probably asking Uchenna to go out to contest. Because obviously, you know that, the Senate membership or the Senate seats is not transferable. You have to actually go out to contest. Dr. Abati.
Okay. All of these statements were made at the tribute session in honor of Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, representing Anambra South on the occasion of his death. He died in July at 52 from surgery complications in the United Kingdom. Let me start with Senator Ali Ndume. Well, Senator Ali Ndume's attention should be drawn to Section 65 of the 1999 Constitution, which talks about qualification. And it's very clear in terms of how you qualify to be a member of the Senate. It's not something that you get by DNA. It's not something that is transferable. We do not have a dynastic resolution in terms of who succeeds who. However, the fact that he drew attention to certain persons who have been in that Senate on the basis of the influence, of filial influence. He mentioned Senator Marjorie Okadibo, very beautiful woman, Senator Marjorie Okadibo, if you know her. But she didn't go there because of beauty. But he cited that example. He cited Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, who became a senator, and he said it's because of the husband that he got there. He cited the example of Senator Iyabo Obasanjo and said, oh, it's because she's the president's daughter. That's how she got it. Now, Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua is also said to have gotten there just to preserve the brother's legacy. I'm not sure that all the persons that have been mentioned will say that they got there because of family connections. They are likely to rebut and say that they got there because they have something to offer. After all, it is the constituencies that determine who should represent them. It should be the people of Anambra South who will determine who will represent them in the Senate, not to take a decision on the basis of filial connection, bedroom romanticism, or DNA connection. However, to go to the subject of the day, I think that Senator Godswill Akpabio made a more important point about how Senator Ifeanyi Ubah was a philanthropist, a good representative of his people, a true born Igbo son who did well on the national stage. You cannot fault Senator Akpabio on that score. And the point that he made also about the Igbos being very industrious, being major contributors to this economy, and why they deserve a Southeast Development Commission. I don't want to go to into the politics of commission in order to manage time. But he was very right about the Igbo people. Although he was saying Igbos came to Lagos. They have taken over 3 local government areas. Well, I don't know whether the Eleko of Iko, the Oba of Lagos, will be happy to hear that Igbos have now become homonyless in Lagos. I think that's more about the liberalism of the Yoruba race rather than the, the accommodating, conquering spirit of the Igbos. But that the Igbos are industrious. He used the word mercantile. Well, I don't like the word mercantile. But he's right if he says that Igbos are entrepreneurial. And I end by what people say about Igbos. That if you enter a community, a village, you don't see an Igbo man there, please pack your things and go. It means that place is not conducive However, let me give the flip side. Chief Tos Benson, T.O.S. Benson, former Minister of Information, now late, on one occasion at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, and I'm not making this up, he said it publicly. If anybody can contradict me, let them do so. He said something about Igbo people. He said he had an Igbo wife and had an Igbo daughter, that he wanted to buy land in Igbo land for his daughter, for his wife, to say, I'm getting old. Tos Benson is getting old. Let me build in this place for my wife. He said that his in-laws told him that they don't sell land to outsiders. That is the irony of Nigeria about the politics of federation, of unity. The same Igbos who are so industrious that they are all over and they do well in other parts of Nigeria. You go as a non-Igbo man to go and buy a land. You will be told that you don't belong, even as an in-law. That's by way of an aside. But these are the issues, in my view.
Well, all right. We'll take another story then. 15-year-old Nnamdi Chidera from Enugu State is at the center of an alleged illegal organ harvest case. Chidera was said to have undergone surgery in 2022 to treat appendicitis. His father, Nnamdi Francis, later discovered that his son's left kidney was missing. After multiple scans, he accused the surgeon, Dr. Shadrach Obinna, AK, of Joe Foundation Hospital, of illegally harvesting his son's kidney without consent. The doctor was arrested and arraigned on November 12, 2024, for practicing medicine without a license, and not for the organ harvesting case, raising concerns and fears by Nnamdi's father that justice will be denied. However, according to the Commissioner for Children, Gender Affairs and Social Development, Chidera was taken to Enugu State University Teaching Hospital, where medical investigations showed that he was born with only one kidney, and as such, no kidney was harvested. I mean, this case is unbelievable. I mean, there's so many moving parts here. This young boy's father took him to the hospital because he was complaining of appendicitis and found out that even after the surgery, the boy is still in pain. Until today, it's 2 years, the boy is still in pain. And I reached out to the Enugu State government, and, the spokesperson had been very kind, sending me different, conversations, be it from the police or from the Human Affairs Development there in Enugu State. And they have been following this case consistently. The latest report is that Chidera was born with only one kidney. But what baffled me is that this doctor has been practicing medicine in that state for years, illegally. And one of his results showed that he was an adult and that he had an enlarged prostate. This sort of medical malpractice going on in Nigeria, it beggars belief to even believe that he actually did not harvest this boy's kidney.
This is such an indictment on what's happening in the health sector at the moment because, first of all, there aren't enough facilities. Then those that are available, that are competent, are just too expensive. Nobody can afford them. So you end up going to whatever's available in your locality, in your community, in your neighborhood. And there, who has vetted? What is the process? Earlier on the program, we had a gentleman, who had been appointed VC, and then there's controversy around that now. He has been sacked and so forth. So now, at least at VC level, it's a matter of educational credentials. But in the health sector, it's a matter of life or death if we are not vetting the people who are... I can't even understand the boldness and brazenness of a human being to cut somebody open, knowing full well that you're not qualified, you don't have the training to do so. It's such a strange story. So on one part, it's in terms of the Ministry of Education vetting the doctors who come into practice. On the other side as well, it's just about the due process that's followed. When a child is born, everything from the top of the head to the bottom of the foot is supposed to be checked and scanned, whether it be the heart, whether it be all of the tests are supposed to be run. In fact, I think is it called an APA score, or there's a score they give you, just after maybe a few minutes after your baby is born, to tell you how strong your baby is. That clearly wasn't done, because at birth you're supposed to know that these are the challenges. So, there's just so many lapses and so many, the lack of integrity in the health sector. Even sometimes when you do go to the private facilities, you hear so many stories, and the truth is there are never any consequences. I have so many ladies that I know who are now unable to conceive because they went through what was supposed to be fibroid operation, but the doctor went and messed up their wombs. Now they can't conceive at all. The malpractice is happening everywhere, and it's just so unfortunate. And Oji, sorry, before you go on to the next story, very quickly, just to speak on Igbos being enterprising. I always find it quite amusing when I hear the conversation, because from the outside, when you're outside of Nigeria and in various countries, we don't see tribe. We know that it's a Nigerian, and we always have this awe and admiration for how enterprising Nigerians are. And yes, it is certainly a strong trait of the Igbo people, but it's incredible how, on a global scale, the Nigerian spirit itself, whether it be Igbo, whether Yoruba, whether Hausa, and so forth, Nigerians are just so enterprising and so resourceful. The Yorubas, you find them so much in academia. You find them at the top of the profession. Even in the healthcare sector, you find a lot of Yoruba people. You find, listen, so many brilliant people. I've met so many brilliant Hausa people as well internationally. So I think, yes, internally, when we're home amongst each other, we'll say, this tribe and that tribe and that tribe. But internationally, the world is seeing the pride of Nigeria at work. And it's just so important for us to just keep, encouraging that unity, that at the end of the day, it's still the Nigerian flag that flies high.
Thank you for
after
that
all, you are our wife. We brought you from Zimbabwe.
I love that balance.
You have to encourage unity. Yes. But anyway, very quickly, just to make 2 points. You mentioned the Ministry of Education. I think the responsibility for medical practice is that of the Medical and Data Practitioners of Nigeria, Enabling Act of 2004. Now, there's something about what they call the law of medical ethics. If you are a doctor, you have to be licensed by that body that I mentioned. And if there is a case of negligence, this has to be reported.
Absolutely.
So we're dealing with negligence under the framework of the law of medical ethics and the authority of the Medical and Dental Practitioners Council of Nigeria. I will advise that body should also take an interest in this matter.
Absolutely.
All these carpenters, the police, the commissioner of whatever in Enugu State, looking into it. No, the appropriate body that can deal with this is that Dental and Medical Practitioners, Council of Nigeria. Because it is very strange that Joe Foundation Medical Center has no license. It is not even registered.
Anyway, Dr. Bati, we have
so that will be bordering in the territory of quackery.
Yes.
And it is the council that has the real authority to investigate what the medical conditions are, whether they were gentleman Chidera had 1 kidney or 2 kidneys, or whether this was a case of organ harvesting, which is another problem in itself.
It's the biggest
as
problem.
We all know.
That Joe Foundation has been shut down. The Enugu State government has sprung into action. They have shut that place down, and I think that the man was arrested. And so they have done. They have dealt with. But the main point is what you have raised, which is the body that is supposed to investigate this situation at hand, because the father claims that his son was born with 2 kidneys, and then we're seeing here different CT scans saying that he was born with 1 kidney. As always, we'll follow up on this story. Well, still in Enugu State, Governor Peter Mbah is advocating for Nigeria's youth to be taught productive skills in school, saying that the lack of productive skills among the young people of Nigeria is the reason why Nigeria is underdeveloped. The governor made the comment on Tuesday while delivering a lecture at the first Enugu State University of Science and Technology. The governor said that Nigeria's current education model and spending could not deliver the much-needed speedy development and economic transformation, and called for an urgent paradigm shift.
The learning in our schools, from basic to tertiary, has for years not imbued our young people with productive skills and competencies. This is the root cause of our underdevelopment. I am hereby today announcing a policy that all state-owned tertiary institutions in Enugu State must henceforth deliver experiential learning to our children.
I join those people in the audience to applaud Governor Peter Ubah on this strong and amazing initiative. Bimba, I was speaking with my sister over the weekend, and we're talking about even, starting off this sort of productive skill schools that can just help them, not just for, literally work, but like, hand skills. And this is one of the things that I think should be encouraged as always. But meanwhile, in River State, a video showing secondary school students singing an anthem in honor of Governor Sim Fubara during assembly has made the rounds on social media. Let's take a look before we come back for a discussion.
There is a governor in River State. His name is Ifeanyi Ubah. He is a God sent to River State. He's gonna take me to government house. To see my governor. Take me to government house. Take me to government house. Take me to government house to see my governor Ubah. Ifeanyi Ubah. Show me the way that leads to government house. Show me the way that leads to government house.
What will happen to you? You end up as a
I want to thank my governor, Fubara, Ifeanyi
Fubara. I mean, this conversation has gone viral, Dr. Bati.
Okay, very quickly. I think the big point to be made is that children should not be involved in politics.
Come on. Really?
These are young people, trying to get on in life. Whatever the problem is in River State, they should spare the children. Mm-hmm. These children are supposed to get quality education, qualitative education, as some people will say, not to be dragged into national anthem. I want to believe that Governor Sim Fubara has no hand in this national anthem. It may just be some overexcitement, getting carried away on the part of persons in the education ministry. And I think that this should be investigated. Governor Fubara himself, who has made it very clear on many occasions that being governor is not a do-or-die affair for him, should not create Kongi service kind of soldiers in the schools in River State. Children going to classrooms in the morning singing his praise. And that takes me quickly to the point made by Governor Peter Ubah of Enugu State, and I think he's right on all these scores. He's saying that we need to rethink the curriculum.
Yes, absolutely.
And indeed, we need to rethink the curriculum. He was a distinguished personality delivering a lecture at a university occasion. And he says, we must place emphasis on productive skills. We live in a world of competition, where skills are more important than your skills at recitation. Mm-hmm. And he says in terms of budgeting, in terms of planning, in terms of what we do, we should produce a generation of persons who are problem solvers, not those who memorize anthems in honor of Governor Sim Fubara. So that's where I see the connection between the two. Mm-hmm. And I think that Governor Peter Ubah himself should show the example by leading the way in Enugu State.
Right.
What he recommends, after all, education is on the concurrent list. Let us see under his watch students coming out who are skillful, who are problem solvers, and it will be a reaffirmation of what he said at that distinguished personality lecture, because talk is cheap, words are easy to pronounce.
All right.
Let Enugu give the example and lead the way.
All right. Governor Peter Ubah, your state shall lead the way. We'll follow up on the story as always. Well, let's take our story under entertainment. Nigeria's beauty queen and the first runner-up at the 73rd Miss Universe competition, Chidimma Adetshina, has announced her decision to step away from pageantry to focus on her education, acting, and modeling career. Chidimma made the comments during an interview with BBC Pidgin on Tuesday. Let's take a look.
What's next? It's definitely not pageantry. I am putting pageant to bed right now, but I am going to focus more on my education and obviously establishing who Chidimma is, more into runways, more into acting. So many things that I would like to touch on and actually really see where my potentials can go to.
Beauty with brains. You're smiling, Dr. Abati. No, go ahead, Bimbai. This is yours.
Are you imagining what I'm smiling at?
I saw you smiling. Go ahead. I know why you're smiling.
I think I just love the message that we are not our past, we're not our experiences. So many things shape us. It's unfortunate, you know, we've been hearing so many stories about, I think, Dr. Abati, you brought the story, is it LeBron James who has left social media? Yes. So many people are now leaving social media, well, specifically X. You know, the Guardian newspaper is leaving X, Gabriel Union is leaving X, Don Lemon, I believe, is also leaving X, and people are choosing to do so because some of what we call banter or dragging has become, you know, extremely toxic, and we forget that it's human beings who are receiving this on the other end. So while all the back and forth was happening around her, you know, nobody really, it was just about typing, typing insults, typing abuse, typing this and that, and nobody really considered the emotional impact it would have on her. And, you know, because there was a clip where she was saying that she's traumatized from this experience, so she never wants to see another pageant again. And I don't blame her for that. But, you know, really just wishing her all the best in all her pursuits. And also just hoping that any lingering court case that she does have in South Africa, they should just also settle everything and close that so that it doesn't open again or recur in the future. She should just bring it to a close.
She's our Nigerian queen. She's here to stay. I know you are so eager to speak on this topic.
No. Just to say that she's welcome.
Yes,
she's now said she's going to relocate to Nigeria. From South Africa, where they have accused her and her mother of witchcraft, where they frustrated her, only for her. The cornerstone that was rejected in South Africa has become the pillar that is sustaining us in this beauty pageantry. Miss Africa, Miss Oceania, but she's now even saying she will look for other opportunities. She's leaving beauty pageantry, she's going to role modeling, she's going to acting. Nigeria is the home of Nollywood. All these producers, you know, I recommend her heartily to them. And then finding a home in Nigeria, that should be no problem. We will welcome her with open hands. And I hear she's still single. Nigerian men, you know, are the best in Africa. Even women in other African countries, including Vimba here, have attested to it that Nigerian men are the best. And leveling up, in terms of leveling up, I recommend the example of Idabachi, who from Udabasi, from cooking delicious cuisine, has now leveled up and all that. So there are great opportunities for her here. Let the South Africans, let them keep complaining about witchcraft. This is one witchcraft that works.
We love this.
And we welcome it. We love this witchcraft.
I think they just said we should just make sure Flavor stays away from her. That's all.
Tell me that story because I've not heard that story yet. Welcome, Chidimma. You are here to stay. Let's head over to Kenya now, where the Catholic Church has rejected a donation of about $40,000 made by President William Ruto. The president offered the money towards the building of a priest's house and as a gift to the choir during Mass on Sunday at the Soweto Catholic Church in the capital, Nairobi. The donation followed a recent statement by Catholic bishops who had hit out at the government for failing to fulfill their electoral promises. The move has sparked a debate on social media, with some asking if religious institutions should participate in politics or accept ill-gotten wealth. Let me take this tweet from Shelby. He wrote, "The Catholic Church just turned down $40,000. Why? They said it was tainted money. Kenya's president donated it, but the church claimed it came from corruption. This raises big questions. Should religious institutions take dirty money or use it for good, regardless of its source? What is your take, Dr. Abati?"
Okay, very quickly. You know, the youths of Kenya that protested had accused religious leaders in Kenya of supporting leaders who have failed the youths, and they've been consistent in that regard. Before this donation at this church in Nairobi, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Kenya had also said, look, they were against the government because the government was not fulfilling the electoral promises. So here you'll find in Kenya the church playing a major role in defending the people's interests.
Right.
And I think that is the same role that the Nigerian body of Christ should play, not presenting itself, projecting itself as a tight collection, tight obsessed, tight crazy congregation of the body of Christ. They should be, no, don't defend synagogue.
No, I just want to say, are you saying that it wasn't our prayers that stopped the Naira from going to 10,000 to the dollar?
Please, leave
it
prayers.
Was our prayers that
leave prayers out. But I'm saying that we have a good example in Kenya, and what this particular church has done, the Soweto Catholic Church of Nairobi, is to return President Ruto's 40,000. Even the governor of Nairobi that contributed money, he has been told that his money will be returned to him.
All right.
Let them go and serve the people.
Very good.
And not bringing dirty money to church.
Good example.
Let your church follow this example.
Well, all right.
That's
well,
what we are
before we
saying.
end good example. Before we end what's trending today, let us highlight how students of Nigerian descent enrolled in higher institutions in the United States are making remarkable strides, and 15-year-old David Akilwe, who got an outstanding score in his scholastic assessment test, in our Good News Report. 2024 Open Doors report on international education exchange has placed Nigeria as the 7th largest source of international students globally and the highest in Africa, with over 20,000 enrollees. The 2023-2024 academic year saw more students of Nigerian descent enroll in higher institutions in the United States. The U.S. Consulate in Nigeria, in a statement, hailed Nigerian students for bringing a wealth of diversity, perspectives, and academic resilience to U.S. universities. The consulate also stated that Nigerian scholars are known for their strong academic backgrounds and commitment to advanced education. And that is the case of 15-year-old David Akilwe, who got an outstanding score in his scholastic assessment test with a perfect 800 in mathematics and 780 in reading and writing, totaling 1,580 out of 1,600. His impressive results have been confirmed by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where he is seeking admission, marking a significant milestone in his academic journey.
All my preparation for this was done entirely online, using only free digital resources. I did test day simulations, meaning waking up by 4 or whatever time I would wake up on test day, and writing practice tests. And it's more of a test on the strategy that you choose to use as opposed to a test on pure intelligence. So I decided to isolate different methods and strategies for different question types in order to maximize my score. My biggest mentor currently would be my dad. I plan on studying mechanical engineering when I get to university, and for what I hope people take away from this is that you don't need much to succeed. Everything that you need and everything that you need to learn is available online, and it's free to anyone with a phone and an internet connection. Thank you.
What a brilliant, brilliant chap. Congratulations, David, and all the students. I'd like to thank you all. I wish we had more time on What's Trending today. Thank you so much. Dr. Abati, for a great contribution on What's Trending today. Well, all right. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.